Hey everybody, welcome to the Ron Pertee Show for the final episode of 2023. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We are not only on Twitch and YouTube, but we're also broadcasting from coughing. We're also broadcasting from the Ron Pertee Show Facebook page. So if you're on Facebook watching us, welcome in. It's we're gonna be joined by Nate in a little bit. He's running late. He's got some other stuff going on. He's out making a drug deal. I don't know what those comics. I really don't. Like I've never done comedy before. We have all sorts of stuff to talk about. We've got some of the biggest news stories that we're going to talk about. Dear Ron's coming up here in just a little bit, and all sorts of other stuff. And don't forget to tune in January 2nd at 11 p.m. Eastern for the coronation of me as your new king of late night. And I had somebody ask me, they said, well, who decided this? Like, there was a vote. And they said, well, who got to vote? And I said, just Nate. Well, why is that? And I says, because that's the only person I wanted to vote. So if you don't like the rule of King Ron, the king of late night, you can blame Nate Ford. You can blame him and blame him and blame him. I want to thank everybody who has been here for the show since it started back up. You're all amazing, and I promise you in 2024 there's going to be fantastic stuff a-coming and a-coming and a-coming and a-coming. Yes. And as your king, know that my mother was the sun and my father was the moon. Anyway, we're going to get right into it because why not? And I don't have a graphic for this. I don't have a jingle yet, but here's the Dear Ron emails. So we're going to hop into this. And don't forget, if you have a problem and you need to get it solved, this email me at theronperteeshow@gmail.com, and I will be more than happy to help. More than happy to help. So this first one, now we told people you don't have to give us your names if you don't want to. You can just, kind of give us a something, clever. So this one says, Dear Ron, so I totally forgot to get my wife a Christmas gift this year. Got everyone else a gift. What should I do? Thanks, Mr. So in Trouble. Well, Mr. So in Trouble, here's what I would do. I would get a really comfy pillow, a really comfortable blanket, a really big jar of Jergens, and get used to living on the couch and masturbating, because you aren't going to see the inside of a vagina for the next 5 to 7 years. Yeah. So thank you for your letter. Again, the Ron Pertee Show @gmail.com, and I will help you through your problems. Here's one. Dear Ron, I hate my kids. I dream of getting rid of them. Am I a terrible mother, or are there ways to cope? Sincerely, at my wit's end. I used to go to a bar called Wit's End, and they would have lingerie girls dancing. And my friend actually hooked up with one in the parking lot. So way to go, buddy. Here's the thing about kids. Kids are basically ways for some people to prove that they had sex a certain amount of times. They're fuck trophies, essentially. And they're also really good if you need an organ later in life. Other than that, they are a drain on your bank account and your patience, and cause nothing but stress. And ultimately, I think at wit's end, you are a horrible mother. So let's see. What's the next one here? Dear Ron, I like to play pranks, and I am running out of ideas. Do you have any prank ideas? Sincerely, Little Impster. Well, Little Impster, why don't you play the best prank ever? The one where you convince everybody that you don't exist. Because if by your signature, you're trying to say that you are a fan of Impractical Jokers, the only way you can get through this is murder-suicide. So, yeah. And our final Dear Ron for this segment and for the year is, Dear Ron, I just got out of prison for money laundering and scamming the elderly. Oh, and bank robbery. I am out of money and patience, and I am trying to get a legitimate job. What should I do? Where should I go? Freed Jailbird. Well, freed Jailbird. All I can think of is boy, wow, that's a tough one. I mean, I guess try to get back into jail because you've got three square meals, a library that comes to you, and sex, and you get paid to be in there while you're making license plates. So I would do something that gets you put back in jail. Maybe run the prison library with your crow Jake. You know, maybe there's that. And so that was Dear Ron. If you have a question, hit up theronpertisshow@gmail.com, and I will answer your emails. I will. It's a lot of fun. We're still waiting on Nate to get here, so I'm going to run through a couple of things here I noticed about the year. This isn't the year in review. We're going to wait for him, but here's some things that I noticed. That apparently there's no whiskey in bottles of Fireball Cinnamon. Yeah. Turns out there is no cinnamon either, just regret. Yeah, and then this would be way better with an audience. But apparently deep sea mappers have given us an incredibly new view of the wreckage of the Titanic, but they still haven't been able to find any views of the wreckage of the Titan submersible. I can't talk. Submersible. So, yeah. If you get that joke, yeah. A baby bison was euthanized after being hijacked. Or let me start that one over. Also, hello, brother intern. A baby bison was euthanized after being handled by a Yellowstone guest. In other news, Bill Cosby visited Yellowstone recently. The U.S. recovered non-biologics from a U.S. UFO crash site. Former Intel official said. And when the science community asked to run tests, they were told, you see with your eyes. And an Alabama mayor ended his life after a website showed pictures of him cross-dressing. I mean, I guess that's one way to get out of paying your Mary Kay bill, I guess. Yeah. That's one way. So that's just some of the stuff I found interesting. We're still waiting for Nate. How has your year been, folks? If you're watching and you're able to chat, let me know how your year's been. Has it been up? Has it been down? Is it a box of fluffy ducks? Were you the one that won the pony? This has been a very strange year for me. I want to thank a couple people for always having my back. First and foremost, my brother, the intern. Even when he doesn't know how to handle what I'm dealing with, he's there to tell me to shut the fuck up. So that's good. I want to thank Pat, who I hope is watching, who, despite his jokes and his revelry and his jocularity, has always had my back. And obviously Nate, because without Nate, this show wouldn't be back. I was on the verge of... I always had the thoughts about bringing the show back, but then at the end of the day, I was just like, what's the point? Is there really a point? And then Nate really kind of like said, hey, no, you need to do this. I won't tell you some of the stuff he said because it's There's people who will think that I'm kind of full of shit. Um, and but yeah, so but he pushed and knowing that I had somebody um like him to have my back on the show, which I say with great irony right now that he's not here. Really meant a lot. And then there's one other person I want to thank. Um, when I was almost literally at the end of my rope, um, she kind of shined this light on me, and uh, she had been supporting me when I didn't even know she was supporting me, and it's kind of she's like the Rolling Stones said, she's like a rainbow, and she really seems to always have my back, and she kind of threw me a life preserver. And they say that no one person should make you happy, but she does. And so does Nate and Pat and the intern. And when I was going at it alone, I kind of feel that I have like more of a little army to have that has my back, you know. And I love how I talk about an army, and next week I'm being crowned king of late night. So, um, but yeah, a lot of military stuff, and I'm not very big in military stuff at all. But I just want to thank all those people. Um, my little Selena Kyle, and when she hears this, she'll know what I'm talking about. Um, I can't wait for the snow, and she'll know what that means too. Um, and I can't wait to be home. And I hope that she gets all those references because they all mean something. And I think she'll get it. I hope she'll get it. So, intern says that his year has been full of food. I can attest to that. I can attest to that. Um, and I promise that there's going to be a lot of cool guests this year, a lot of fun, um, a lot of yeah. And here's if we're being completely transparent, let's just be wide open here. I don't know why, since we're broadcasting to Facebook, I am so nervous. I don't know why. I am just so like at my wit's end. Like the yeah. So it's really kind of making me nervous because I'm used to YouTube and I'm used to Twitch, and then you throw Facebook in the mix and you don't know what to think, you know. Um and it's just kind of a weird thing. But yeah, so all these people have changed me, you know. Pat keeps telling me that I'm way too talented to be down on myself. And intern keeps telling me don't listen to other people because who gives a fuck what they think. And Nate just keeps pushing me to do the show because I'm apparently he thinks I'm good at it, you know. And Selena has made me feel okay in my own skin, you know. If you notice, the shirt's undone and I'm kind of combing my hair and I'm doing things that a confident person would do. I feel confidence for once. And sure, I may be depressed a lot but that's something that has nothing to do with the show, and it has nothing to do with a lot of that. That's just the way I'm wired, you know? And it's why I'm in therapy. It's why I'm medicated. It's why I'm a lot of things. And um but having that small group of people have my back, it means a lot, you know? And I know there's other people who listen to the show. I don't know if they listen to every episode. Um But there are certain other people who listen, and, if you think I'm talking about you, I am. Um, and it's just, I'm probably getting very sappy right now. Am I getting too sappy for everybody, or am I just like, or do you guys like this kind of thing where I'm just talking? I'm being being really real. Um, it's just yeah, I don't know, man. I just kinda this is the one thing I look forward to on a weekly basis that I know is gonna happen. This and Tales from the Podcast. Um, because I've been told I'm good at this and that I need to keep doing it. And that yeah, I'm not the one that brought up the whole King of Late Night. Um, and I did watch on HBO. I watched the History of Late Night, which was fantastic. If you haven't watched that, watch that on Max. Um, and late night's different now. Late night's not like it was when Carson and Letterman were around, or even Conan. Late night is way different now, and you have to kind of embrace the changes and move forward with them. And that's what I'm trying to do. And yeah, so it's one of those situations. And yeah, I don't know why I'm kind of getting emotional about this, because this is probably, is this the longest that the show's gone without a break? Like, I took that 1 week off because I was sick, but that was a whole other thing. But this is one of the longer times, you know, and we're getting close to 300 episodes. And every time that's the thing, is when I'm depressed, I always think to myself, you're going to be in a video game. You're published in both the comic world and the literary world. You've been in a band. You've made movies. You co-wrote a movie that is kind of available right now, called Body Count. I have my Blu-ray. I don't know where I put it. And that was on a big screen. It had a premiere in North Hollywood, you know, and there are people that come just to see you. So why are you so down? I have a life that some people would kill for, you know? And a woman that says, I want you. I have never in my life heard that from a woman. It took me 44 years. 44 years to hear that from a woman. You know? And yeah. Fun. But wow, I must sound like I'm rambling on. Like I'm just like this is an Allman Brothers song. Lord, I was born a rambling man. But 2023 was weird. You know, I thought things would start changing a little bit around Christmas, because of after my mom's passing. And for the first time, I saw my brother be kind of emotional about it. He's always been kind of stoic. And it's not a bad thing. Everybody deals with their stuff in their own way. But this is the first year where he kind of, I think it might have finally sunk in, where he realized that mom's gone. And it really hurt. And there were plenty of times during the course of this last week where I reached out and I was like, "Look, I need a drink." And I've been sober for like 20, almost 21 years. And I just wanted to get fucked up. Like really fucked up. But I didn't because I'm also lazy. So, you see how that doesn't work out together. A lot of other stuff happened. We had the biggest blank fest probably of our 17 years, one of. So that was very cool. In the paper twice about that. And George's Tavern here in my hometown closed down. Some people think it's going to reopen, but I don't know. That kind of sucks because George's was kind of cool. That whole area right before downtown and by the bridge, and I remember that bridge. They were dedicating this new bridge when I was in high school, and we got off of school to go see the dedication because the governor was there. And my grandpa was a World War II vet and a fireman, so they had him be one of the people that threw the wreath into the water. And my high school was like 4 or 5 blocks away from the bridge, so we all just walked. And there was nothing better than having Governor at the time, Tommy Thompson, going up to all of the people who were there to throw for the wreath ceremony and hearing my grandpa from a distance. This is before Nirvana and Soundgarden and STP ruined my hearing. But hearing from a distance my grandfather telling Tommy Thompson to go fuck himself. An intern will back me up on this because that's how our grandfather was. And there are a lot of things that happened this year that I wish my mom or my grandma or my grandpa had been here to see. And they aren't. But I'm here. And for the first time in a few years, I went and saw my grandparents, and it was kind of surreal because the cemetery was empty. And I kept looking for that woman from the Father John Misty video whose kink is having sex in cemeteries, but she didn't show up. So that upset me. But what are you going to do, right? It's just one of those things. And yeah, I don't know what to say. It's just kind of let's do this on the air and find out where Nate is. I'm trying to avoid. See, that's the thing is it cuts down on what you can talk about when you don't want to talk about politics. When you want to just stay evergreen and just be funny and make jokes, and you don't want to piss off half your audience. And yeah, so we'll see. I just sent him a message. We'll see what he says. But if he can't make it, we'll probably do a short show tonight. Just because I don't want to. But there's been a lot of things in 2023 that but you know what? I don't remember what I did on New Year's last year. I don't remember what I did on Christmas. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you a lot of the stuff I did this year. I do know I was going to have a birthday party when I turned 44, and that didn't happen because I got sick. Um, and So that was fun. So let's just hope 45 is good because that's coming up, and I'm a little worried about it, but I think I'll be okay. Um, but yeah, so it's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those things. I feel like I'm getting too schmaltzy. Am I getting too schmaltzy? Let me know because if I'm getting too schmaltzy, I can try and change the topic. Um, okay. I went to Walmart today, or as I like to call it, a very big Trump rally. And that was very interesting. Very, very interesting, to say the least. Um, but hey, Colin, how's it going? Welcome in. Uh, but so what are you guys up to? Well, how was your 2023s besides full of food? I saw a little bit of NXT before the show, and Cora Jade's looking pretty hot. But yeah, I'll be honest with you, I didn't think I could pull off almost a half an hour on my own, which I think is pretty funny that I'm able to do this. I'm kind of proud of myself, to be completely honest. Um, and right on. Colin says not much complaints about my 2023. One of my big complaints about 2023 is that AEW exists, but that's something for a different podcast or a different. I'm sorry, a different late night show. Um, but there's just so much negative in the news, and I thought that just let's just review our lives. Why not? And just kind of see where things go. And that's very true. 2024 could fix that AEW issue. Yes, that's well, Warner Brothers Discovery could fix that AEW issue. I did see news apparently that I don't know if this is true or not because I'm only seeing it from one source, but Amazon is making Prime $3 more so you can get it without ads. Even Amazon is doing the ad game. It's like is cable just not a viable option anymore? It's like everything you have to pay extra, and by the time you have all the streaming services that are worth a damn, you end up paying what your cable bill is. You know, and if intern didn't need NFL Network, we probably wouldn't have cable, but he needs his NFL Network. I mean, the intern is the biggest Colin Coward fan ever. So I'm only saying that to make sure he's still listening, and I don't think he is. I don't think he is, but that's okay. That's okay. The boy is on grandfather time. He gets up at like 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning sometimes. And the fact that he stayed up this late is astonishing. Just astonishing. Yeah, he's out. But the thing with me is like I thought about doing a show on New Year's, but I think it might be better if I'm around people. Because not only being around people, but also how am I gonna have stuff for the show if I don't live, right? I gotta live to be able to do the show, I think. So maybe I'll do something on I was invited somewhere for New Year's, so we'll see. Maybe, I don't know. But it just kinda yeah, I don't know. So once again, I wanna thank Intern, I wanna thank Colin too. Colin has always had my back. He's like my Tom Hagen, if you get that reference. Pat, Nate, if he's ever gonna show up. Um, and my Selena Kyle, she's, well, I don't mean like living in like a live way. I'm talking about like going out and living life, going out and going to a party and going to this and going to that. But the only problem is I don't want to go out and possibly get COVID, you know? Um, so that's a whole thing. But I also don't want to watch Ryan Seacrest. I don't want to watch Anderson Cooper. Although big ups to Anderson Cooper because he is my favorite news anchor and interns too. And if you want to know why, hit me up privately. Um, but just a heads up, next week on the program, it's here, but I can't wear it yet. But I am being crowned the king of late night. So we'll see how that all goes. Um, I will. I'm gonna go for a little bit longer, and then I'll probably wrap up. Because I have to get back to the regular world tomorrow. Um, but it's 2023 is definitely something to think about. Definitely something to think about. Um, and then hopefully at some point forget about, except for key features that you need to keep going. And it's just kind of it's surreal, It's I didn't think I'd be here. I didn't think that technology would get to a point where I could do this like this. I thought I would be regulated to um, um, cable access for life, and so, but yeah, I don't. I think Nate might be tied up, so we're probably gonna call it. Um, yeah. So I want to thank everybody for being here. You're all amazing, and don't forget to follow me on the social medias. And I will see you all. I know it's cliche to say, but I will see you all in 2024. I don't know what's going to happen with New Year's, but stay in contact on the socials, and we'll see what happens. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and to. Oh wait, we have comments here. Okay, for those just listening, this is be the worst podcast on the net. How in the world do you do almost 300 of these? Well, you see, what I do is I get up off the couch and I come over here and I sit behind this microphone and I have guests or I have my co-host is usually here And yeah, so that's how I do them, you know. And it's not super difficult from a physical aspect. So I appreciate your question. I appreciate your question. That's fantastic. But I thank you all for listening. You've all been amazing. And I will see you all next week. So have yourself a good, safe New Year. And we'll see you next time.